Let's talk about demonstrated interest. So, what is demonstrated interest? Well, as the name kind of says, it's the amount of interest that a given student is showing for a college, right? So, why do colleges care about this? So, let's think about this. What colleges care about is their yield. And when I say yield, I mean how many students come to their school, right? They very closely track how many acceptances they put out and then how many kids actually say, yes, I'm going to attend, and here's my enrollment deposit. And so they have yield targets and they track them very closely once they get into that season of the year where deposit checks are coming in, right? So they're businesses. Colleges are nonprofits, but they're businesses. So they care about their yield. They care about their revenue coming in. And some colleges really look at a student's demonstrated interest when they're thinking about how interested is this student to come, right? So if you think about it, if two kids apply to, ABC college and they look at demonstrated interest that they track, and I'll talk about, the things they track in a minute, but they look at, for example, Susie. So Susie has a lot of clicks on the demonstrated interest, right? And another student, very similar in grades, test scores, equally admissible at the school, and the school's excited about admitting either one of them. But then if they look at demonstrated interest and say, well, Johnny, on the other hand, we don't see that he's made any effort to show interest in the college. He applied, but he hasn't really shown any interest. Well, if they're deciding between those two students, it's likely that they're going to pick the student that has shown demonstrated interest, because in their mind, and it's logical, this thinking is logical, that Susie's more likely to come, right? Because she's had more pings, if you will. She's touched the school in different ways. So that means she's probably more interested in the school. So when I say pings or touches, what am I talking about? So colleges reach out to students in all different ways, right? They might email them. So does the student open the email? That can be tracked. If there are links in the email or they send out a text with links, did the student click on the links and watch a video, right? That's the different technology stuff that they do. It could be as simple as a college keeping track of, hey, did a parent or guardian call financial aid and ask questions and identify themselves? Did the student have any interaction with professors? Did the family jump on any virtual tours or any virtual events and attend our session, right? Virtual events are a big deal now, right? Also, did the family visit in person? Because that's starting to be possible, right? And this is not a reason to stress, right? If you're not going to visit a college in person, that's totally fine. But with virtual events, there's a lot of ways to actually check out a school, right? These didn't used to be, 5-10 years ago, there were no virtual events, right? You visited. And even when there weren't virtual events, it's still okay to not visit a college. Don't listen to this and say, oh, Peg's telling me that we got to visit all these colleges so that we get a demonstrated interest check mark, right? There's a lot of ways to show demonstrated interest. And for me personally, with my kids, Shannon and Brennan, what I did not take them, they're twins, right? Between them, there were quite a few schools we could have visited. Well, that's a lot of money and a lot of time to visit schools when you don't even know if your child's going to be admitted, right? So I didn't take them to all the schools. Many of them we went to after they applied. But if that school came to town and spoke at the Sheraton on their own or with a group of other colleges and they were interested in that school, we went. And I made sure that they signed up, right? And they met people. So they showed demonstrated interest. And it wasn't just to show it. It wasn't just to kind of play the game, if you will. It's actually a good thing to reach out to colleges that you're interested in, right? Reach out to them, get more data. That helps you decide, and that helps your child decide if that school is a good academic and personal fit and financial fit, right? If you're calling financial aid and asking questions. So reaching out to schools you're interested in, it's just a natural thing that's probably going to happen. But I also want you to understand that for some colleges, not all colleges, but a lot of colleges really, really track this. And it can be an advantage when it comes to admission, it really can. So I want you to keep this in mind. And actually, it might come into play if they're looking at it in their algorithms when they're giving out their financial aid packages. So it's something to keep in mind. It's a good thing, regardless of how it helps with financial aid and admissions. It's a good thing to really understand the schools and the fit for the schools that your child's applying to, but it also can be an advantage. And so I just wanted you to understand that. And as always, enjoy the journey.